Hello, friends. Today's episode is brought to you by From Within Records. Leftover Statement of Pride tour merch is available. Please head over to the From Within Records website and grab some while you still can. Visions of Mortality, new single D2 is streaming now. 7-inch coming later this summer from Corruption Records and From Within Records. Shout out Pittsburgh. 2 new Pain Clinic songs are now streaming for their Summer 23 promo. If you're going to be at This Is Hardcore, there will be bootleg CDs available, so grab one while you can. Shout out to the Pain Clinic. If you're not following From Within Records on social media, please boot up your Twitter, your Instagram, click that follow button to stay up to date on all the current news. And like I always say, please support From Within Records because they support us. If you're looking for high quality merch for your band, for your business, please hit up my friends over at Good Fortune Printing out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. You can follow them on Instagram at Good Fortune Printing. If you want to get in contact with them, please email them contact@goodfortuneprinting.com. Before we get into today's guests, if you listen to the last episode with Angie, I mentioned more I wouldn't say issues, or maybe it is an issue, but when I was going to record this podcast with Tyler about Spider-Verse, the camera that I'm using right now, you obviously can't see it because it's off camera, but the camera that I'm using was giving me issues. It was doing something really weird that it has never done before, and it was only doing it that day, so I opted to use my vlogging camera, right? Shout out to my vlogging camera, because I didn't want to do the Tyler episode without video, so I recorded my video with my vlogging camera because I thought my face cam was broken, but it turns out it was just being very stubborn that day. So that's why when you notice, if you're watching the video portion of this podcast, my lighting is very different, right? Because it's just set up to be used with this camera and not my vlogging camera. Like, you know, the exposure and everything's different, so that's why it's a little different. But this is hopefully for now the last episode with our weird technical difficulties for the foreseeable future. But you can enjoy me being in 4K for this episode. But I just had to address that. But obviously, it was another great episode with Tyler Short, good friend of mine. It was just his birthday, so hopefully, Tyler, you had a great birthday. But talking about Spider-Verse was awesome. Hopefully, everybody at this point has seen it, and if you haven't, I highly suggest you watch it. Really fun movie. And we briefly talked about the first episode of Secret Invasion, which is ongoing, and you'll hear it in the episode. We agreed to come back for the finale of Secret Invasion and talk about the series as a whole, just because there's going to be this big gap when it comes to MCU movies, and it could be even longer, right? Because since Tyler and I record this episode, the whole situation in Hollywood has just gotten worse. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we will return with our review episode of Secret Invasion, which I'm looking forward to, because by the time we record that episode, I will have been caught up with all Disney Plus TV shows, which we'll talk about. It'll be fine, because I know it's been this ongoing thing with Tyler and I where I've been putting off She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, but I've caught up. Spoiler alert. And it's fine. You'll hear about it. But I love Tyler. I love talking about these Marvel movies. They will never get old to me. As long as they're coming out, Tyler and I will be doing these podcasts. So I hope all of you enjoy it. I hope all of you had fun watching Spider-Man. And like I said, if you haven't watched Spider-Man yet, hit pause, go. I don't know if it's on streaming at this point, but find some way to watch it and then come back here and listen to Tyler and I talk about the movie, because it was fun. It was great to be able to talk about another Marvel movie, right? Because like I said, our main staple is the MCU, but we wanted to try something a little different, and it was fun. So I hope all of you appreciate this conversation as much as I did. And so please, without further ado, welcome Tyler Short to the show. All right, and we're recording. Welcome back to the podcast, Tyler Short. How's it going, my friend?
Pretty good, bud.
That's awesome. Minus all the technical difficulties that I don't want to bore the audience with, I'm happy to be here today.
Dude, I'm feeling nothing but technical difficulties right now, so we're good.
Okay. Well, let's just start with Secret Invasion. I know when I texted you, I said Secret Wars, and looking back at that text, I was like, I know that's not the right title, but
I didn't even notice that you texted the wrong thing.
Okay. It was just one of those little things that was just like been like eating at me for the past like day. Even it's not a big deal, whatever. But I'm just curious about your initial reactions for the first episode.
It's fine. It felt like the first Mission Impossible movie, but aliens.
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't blown away. I was hoping to be blown away and to be wanting more, but it was just okay in my opinion.
Set up.
Yeah. So that's why I don't want to go too hard on it, because it is just the first episode. But it was fine.
I mean, there's a few cool things they do in it. They shot on real locations.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. There was hardly any CGI.
Yeah, minus all the scroll stuff. Yeah.
Like minus scroll stuff. That's but you got to do that for that. The explosions at the end were. Some of that was CGI'd, but they also were like throwing shit around. Mm-hmm. We saw blood in a Marvel movie or a Marvel television show.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool with.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure like how hard they were going to go.
And it's very, to me, it feels like the first Mission Impossible movie.
Mm-hmm.
The way, they don't really have the budget to hang Tom Cruise out of a plane yet, but, they I don't know, it's stylized in a way that I thought was all right. I was kind of laughing a few times that Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson really has just gotten away with playing the same character in every single thing he's ever been in, and it's great every time.
Mm-hmm.
But like when he's sitting down, I'm trying to think of when he's sitting there trying to interrogate the art dealer or whatever, the bomb maker guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just waiting for him to say, "Look at the big brain on Brett," ask for a bite of the quarter pounder with cheese. Like, I was like, this is just that scene in Pulp Fiction again.
Yeah, my whole thing was just like watching the episode. It seemed like they were like gaslighting Nick Fury, because they kept mentioning, "Oh, like you're not the same, like since Thanos." And I'm just kind of curious if that's actually true, because we haven't really gotten to see him too much. Yeah. And there are some scenes where he's like self-reflecting and even thinking about it himself, and I'm just wondering if he really is different because of everything that went down with the blip, or if it's just because these people are just like in his head saying that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see it going either way. I mean, I also like, I really do enjoy how well thought out they've like, from the Captain America, or not Captain America, but Falcon and Winter Soldier, to Ant-Man, to a certain extent as well. The way the blip has realistically affected this world that they've built in the Marvel universe. I love the idea that Nick Fury was there for the Skrulls, was there helping them do their thing, but then when half of them just fucking disappear, and also Nick Fury disappears, and what are they left? Who's left to look out for them? Like, it's like I don't know. It made so much sense that they would become like disillusioned with working with Nick Fury, or with the hope that anyone was going to help them do anything. They would have to start trying to take matters into their own hands, which I thought that was a pretty realistic application of what how the Skrulls could be radicalized.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, the whole Russia America playing off each other too, like, incredibly topical for the current moment.
100%. I was just like, oh, I guess we're going there again, which I'm fine with.
I mean, Marvel bases its universe in the real world, so it's very real. I am curious where they shot all these Moscow scenes to look like Moscow.
Yeah,
I haven't looked that up to see what location they shot this. I just watched it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I thought it was cool. Emilia Clarke's. I did have the realization, like, right before I was like, oh, it's his fucking daughter, isn't it? And then it was. It's like, oh, that's, of course. I don't know how I didn't see that coming immediately when they talked about her, that of course it's gonna be Emilia Clarke, because who the fuck else would she be playing?
Yeah, to cast someone so high profile like her, which I'm a huge fan of. I'm like, ever since Game of Thrones, I've been a fan of hers.
We talk about her. We love her. It's great. But yeah, no, I thought it was cool. It's interesting seeing. I mean, this is, I think, the first television show Samuel L. Jackson's ever been in where he like is starring in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think. Me and Ashton were both trying to think, and then like Ben Mendelsohn's been in TV shows. He was in Bloodline, which he's great in. But yeah, I thought that. I mean, they're both supreme forces on screen, and that scene where they see each other for the first time and they embrace, I was like, this is how you demonstrate a history between two characters without having to hammer it.
Yeah, like rehash
to the audience.
Yeah.
Yes, you can just show them have this moment of intimacy. A character you never see intimate with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
That was powerful. It was the best scene in the episode.
Just curious, are you into the Nick Fury without his eye patch? I prefer the eye patch, but I'm just curious, does that, even play into it?
I think it took me like 20 minutes into the episode to realize, like, oh, he's just like raw dogging it now. He doesn't even care about covering up his eye. That's kind of odd, but at the same time, like, I think if he's trying to be low key, I think the eye patch makes him more recognizable.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if he's going undercover, the eye patch would be more of a giveaway. Like, oh, that's Nick Fury.
Yeah.
When he's just being a guy walking around as the only black guy in Moscow.
Yeah.
Which is also not low key at all.
Yeah. It's like he sticks out and he walks into the bar. Everybody knows exactly who he is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought that was also the line when he says to Maria Hill, you know how we kept the Cold War from going hot? Like, me buying lots of shots. And it's like, I love that that acknowledgement that all these like fucking like wet work guys, like, kind of get along to a certain degree, like behind the scenes. It's like you hear about all the senators and Congress people who all act like they're complete fucking mortal enemies on TV, but then you find out they go to the same parties and they drink from the same punch bowl and take the same money from people. It's all fucking same.
Now, we're at the very beginning of this. When it's all said and done for Secret Invasion, do you think it's going to play a bigger role for the MCU, or do you think it's just going to be on par with all the other shows where it's just like, all right, it's here existing, but it doesn't do a whole lot for like the world building or any of that?
I mean, it looks like Miss Marvel's gonna impact the world in a bigger way with the Marvels, and I definitely think that Falcon and Winter Soldier's impacting the world in a bigger way too. We just haven't gotten that far. I did not check it out, but did you see a bunch of the 2025 Marvel movies are been canceled?
I know that a lot of them are being affected because of the strike, but I did not see an updated list on what has been canceled.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm
wait, and
I'm
it's
happy. I'm happy that they're choosing to cancel rather than push on.
And it's just like full on, just like scrapping the film, or just canceled release date.
I'm not sure. I didn't watch the video. That Emergency Awesome channel that I follow for Marvel news every now and then. I saw that there was a video, but then Ashton came home sweet, ate dinner, and watched TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to be interesting because, and I don't even know if we really covered it, but everything that Jonathan Majors is going through and all these talks of like, what is Marvel going to do? Are they going to, stand by his side, or are they going to try to pivot and, do like a redirect and not really focus on Kang, which this whole thing has been built around him?
Yeah, so that's a bummer. I haven't followed too much of any of the new stuff that's come out. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know what he's looking at, but I really liked him as an actor, and that really fucking sucks that he possibly is misbehaved in a way that has ruined his life and his career and all the people who were depending on his presence in movies moving forward. That it's really easy to not do things that blow up your fucking life.
100%. Like, if he's guilty, then I obviously don't really feel too bad for him, because it's just don't be a shitty person. Yeah,
exactly. But then again, it's even if he's not guilty, like that's a lot to it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of baggage to overcome. Like I still don't know how I feel about Ezra Miller. I have no interest in seeing the Flash movie, or at least paying for it, but I'll probably watch it when it's free.
Yeah, this weekend, or this past weekend, excuse me, I was presented with, do we want to watch The Flash or the new Spider-Verse film? And I was just like, let's, and partly because I knew we were going to do this podcast, I was like, let's go towards the Marvel side. And I'm not like super pumped on DC. Honestly, I'm really...
I only care once James Gunn has the full reins. That's the only time I'm going to start caring again.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of, just having fun watching from afar, because once again, I love spoilers. So I talked to my buddy Nate, who went and saw the film, who's like a big Flash guy. I was like, just tell me everything. I don't fucking care. And I was like, oh, all right, that sounds cool, but like, I'm not scrambling or feeling like I'm missing out on anything right now. But I'm in the same boat. Once they get past Blue Beetle, right? Because for DC, Blue Beetle's next, and that's not even like James Gunn yet. So like, like once we get past that, then I think we'll be like, in like his realm now.
Yeah, I mean, the only movies I think I care about seeing, I definitely want to see the silly ass Joker 2 movie, just to see what the fuck this is gonna be. It's gonna be ridiculous, whatever it is. I'm fine with movies just being dumb though. So like, if it's as long as it like is like self-aware, I think I'll enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, the Penguin show and the Batman 2, that's all I'm really looking forward to as far as DC goes right now.
Yeah, it's like, I know I'll watch that stuff like in time, but I don't feel like so inclined to be like, all right, like I got to go to the theater to watch this. I got to stay up to date. I'm like okay with just watching it when I have time, if that makes sense.
Oh, I'm seeing the Batman in theaters for sure. I don't think there's been a Batman movie, aside from if we're going to count this Flash movie, that I haven't seen in theaters in the entire time that I've been alive.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, I haven't always walked away super impressed.
Yeah, no, for sure. There were several Batman movies when I was a child that I think I loved, but I don't care for anymore.
Same. But
looking at you, Batman and Robin.
Yo, hey, the 90s were a weird time.
Yep. Very weird time.
Yeah, but also too, the level of superhero movie, because I feel like back then it was like I was just happy that we had something. Yeah, no. but now it's just like, no, like there's like the bar has been raised so high that shit, I won't accept it. Nobody will accept it, you know?
Yeah, it's just fucking wild though, because they like made some good ones in the middle of making some really fucking bad ones.
Yeah, because I feel like not everyone kind of realized what comic books actually could be back then, because a lot of people might not remember there was a weird stigma to liking and reading comic books way back in the day. Comic-Con wasn't always cool. It's strange how the tables have turned, but I get it. Like, to me, I've always been a fan, so it was strange for me back then when it wasn't cool, but now that it is cool, like, I'm just like, yeah, it took you guys long enough.
Well, and I think that's the difference too, is like when you look at, I mean, everybody will say like Christopher Nolan changed it by like pulling from the text to make these, like, because there was a period of time where the Batman movies were like, oh, this is just IP.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we got to make another movie about the Batman because it's been a few years and it's time to cash in again. And I think some of these in all of those, like a lot of those superhero movies got started from people with genuine interest in the project. Like, I think Tim Burton did a really good job with the first two Batman movies that he did. I really wish we could have gotten the third Batman movie that he wanted. With was it going to be? It was, I think Robin Williams was going to play the Riddler in the third one, which would have been, and we would have gotten Billy D. Williams' transformation into Two-Face in that movie as well. Because Tim Burton was trying to play the long game. Still don't remember. He did something else instead of that, and what a shame that they didn't insist on him returning for that. But yeah, and then the X-Men movies started on such a high note. I think X1 is fucking awesome. I think X2 is pretty good too, and then X3 just it becomes IP. It becomes we gotta crank out another one of these things. Wolverine Origins. We gotta crank out another one of these things, and it's like they all sucked ass.
I feel like that period with X-Men, that was a turning point, and alongside with the release of Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, fucking first two Spider-Man, even though I did have it fucking crushed for me that the first two Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire are the same movie twice. Like, almost beat for beat, they repeat things, but it's still fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's when it kind of dawned on me. I was like, they have like something here finally, because obviously there's been a ton of superhero movies, TV shows leading up to that, but nothing to the point where I feel like where it like reached outside of the bubble, where like the whole world was paying attention.
Yeah, and I mean, and then again, but we run into Spider-Man 3. What if Sam Raimi had been able to make the Spider-Man 3 he wanted to make, instead of having to shoehorn Venom in because the studio was insisting that he include Venom because he's such a big character? And then what did he do? He just said, all right, fuck it, I'll do it, and then just did it bad.
Sony.
Yeah, Sony making great decisions all around since since whenever the fuck they started. They're just killing it.
I still wonder what it would be like if Marvel had full control, even though they have to do these deals with Sony, which I completely understand. But what would it be like if Marvel could just be like, all right, like let's just go all in and not have to hear what Sony wants?
I mean, yeah, it sucks that they were so hard up on cash, man. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
It sucks they had to release the IP of so many things that really mattered. It sucks there's no funding for the fucking arts in this country, dude. I talk about this all the time. That like if only there was a genuine interest in the public sphere of I don't know, just like an acknowledgement that funding the arts is worth it, and that the fact that art has to be commodified in a way for maximum profit hurts the ability to tell stories. And it creates these situations where we've got things that are broken up, families they're split up, and one company owns half, the other company owns the other half, and you're not allowed to talk about all these different things. But supposedly we're in a free market society where we're all supposed to be so much happier, pursuit of happiness and bullshit. And it's like, no, I think we're just all suffering in different ways, and even art is suffering because of the way we have to exist and pay the bills.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That's why I always just try to encourage people to follow their heart, do what they want, especially if it involves art and they might not have the most confidence in it. But I'm just like, dude, doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah, and support art too. Like even if you're making it, you got to support it too. If you're just like buying physical things, like I do it in the ways that I can. I do. I'm in full, like, to a detriment. Like I see, every time we do this podcast, I see behind you the things that you're supporting, the things that the physical things, the tangible things that you do to let someone know, like, keep doing it, keep going. And that shit's important. But it's also, I mean, it just sucks that at the end of the day, like, somebody can be so hard up for money that they sell the rights of their art away.
Yeah, and to have to fight to get it back. Like, I feel like Marvel, Disney's been on like this endless war to try to recoup everything. And I'm not sure if you saw the other day, there was like a big, I don't know if it was, say, a scare, but there was like a maybe like a false hope, because Incredible Hulk was added to Disney Plus. So everybody was like, oh shit, like they got the rights back to the Hulk. But I think it was just like this big confusion where like they just had the rights to that like particular film, not like Hulk in full, like everybody wants, because obviously it's also tied up with like Universal, which I
did see somebody make a video that World War Hulk is actually happening or some shit, and I didn't click it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Marvel, Disney, they just have to get through these next two phases, and hopefully we were able to kind of get through it and have it be good. I honestly don't think it'll be as impactful as Infinity War Endgame. Yeah, because that's like super tough, which
especially, I mean, considering that all that stuff happened before COVID, all that stuff happened before this writer strike. Like, I mean, us talking about like 2025 getting, that slate getting canceled. If we are still doing these things, maybe that's the time we reach back and we go back and we start at the beginning and start watching some of the old ones and talking about them.
Yeah, we do have that option, which I like. But I don't know. I'm hoping they can figure it out, but it sucks because you want these people to get properly compensated for the work that they do. But when you're seeing these like internal documents getting leaked saying how that they don't want to give in to demands, so they don't want unions to be formed in other countries to where they have to, you know, pay a good wage, because obviously that's why they travel to these foreign countries, because they can get away with you know, cheap labor, because you know, a lot of people in other countries are just you know, more than happy to just be there. So it sucks, and I hope they're able to figure it out where you know, both parties are happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all gross, dude. The way we exploit, again, the way we exploit anybody we possibly can for maximum profit is fucking gross.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like when you break it down, it's like, dude, like,
especially that profit doesn't go to the people who create the art.
No,
it goes to the people who own it.
Yeah, which is crazy. You know, there's this thing, and this is me tying some shit back to K-pop. There's like this thing where I'll go to these K-pop concerts, right? And obviously, like I pay my own money, and I'll get these really good seats, and afterwards I'll be on TikTok, scrolling through, and just through like the algorithm, whatever, I'll see like someone who like wrote this, like, you know, hit song that they're playing at the concert, the sold out SoFi Stadium, where, you know, hundreds of thousands of people are all singing along, like the whole stadium's just like roaring, and these people are like back, like, you know, high up. I'm like, what the hell? You wrote this song, you created like the lyrics for this, and I have a better seat than you. Like, you should be like backstage, on stage, getting way more love.
You should be on side stage. You should be getting pointed at.
Yeah, and that shit blows my mind. And like, I get it, they're super proud, which they should be, for creating like such an awesome song. Yeah. But to me, it's just like, why aren't they getting shown way more love from the group that's actually performing it? And I'm just like, that always just blows my mind. I'm like, how? And you know, maybe they were comp tickets or whatever, but it's just like, they still should have better seats than me, the normal fan. It's fuck up. Yeah, that's one thing that I've like, that I can't wrap my head around, you know.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's strange.
But
because, and maybe, you know, because I'm thinking like in terms of like going to a hardcore show, you know, there's so many people on stage. I'm like, that's where those like songwriters and, you know, people who help create the stuff should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's fucking sad.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, well, you want to talk about Spider-Man?
Yeah, okay. Last thing on Secret Invasion. Obviously, here we are. Spider-Man just came out. We're here talking about the first episode of Secret Invasion. I'm very curious when the next Marvel movie comes out and Secret Invasion will be over. I do want to revisit it. So this you know, we'll put a
oh yeah, no, for sure,
put a cap on it for now. But next time we do this, Secret Invasion will be over, and I want to just go over that again and see how we're feeling now. Because right now, obviously, first episode, it's like, you know, cool, not too down, not too happy about it yet, but I'm just very curious to see where we'll be at once it's all said and done.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge right now, because you probably still haven't. Have you finished She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel yet?
No.
Let's get this out of the way.
Okay, no, I have not. I've been very busy. But it's okay. I'll say this: watching the first episode of Secret Invasion has kind of sparked my logging. I have not logged into Disney Plus in months, even though I'm still paying for it. But logging in, it felt good to see that stuff. So I'm like, all right, like, I got to get this done.
Okay.
All right, we're moving in the right direction, right? I logged in, so we're many steps ahead.
I just need to get the shame out of the way, and then we can move on.
Okay, all right.
I would rather shame you now and then us talk about badass shit than us talk about badass shit and we shame you at the end.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, but going into Spider-Man, I didn't realize like how long, like, or how big the gap was from the first one to now, because it was just like this memory, like, okay, I remember going and watching Spider-Verse and walking away, because I walked in like thinking, okay, I like Miles Morales, let's see what they can do, because you know, historically DC has been the company to go to for animated
animation.
comic book films. Marvel, they've obviously done their share, but nothing has really been that spectacular. So going into the original Spider-Verse, I was just curious to see what they're going to do with this character that I feel like should be in the MCU, like long overdue. And then walking away from it, just being blown away, because just knowing that people who aren't even familiar with the source material could be super entertained, because they do like a really good job of being able to give that experience. I was just so happy. So and just having that memory with me for like such a long time, and then going into the new film, I was like, yeah, damn, I didn't realize how long ago that actually was, and it just kind of blew my mind.
Dude, we were still living in our apartment. We watched it on our big ass TV at our apartment when maybe it might have even been when my fucking knee was hurt. I can't remember. I think it might have just been on Netflix randomly when I was like, you want to watch this Spider-Man animated movie? I mean, it's probably nothing, but I hear people talking about it, and we watched it, and we're like 20 minutes in, and I was like, this is fucking brilliant. This is beautiful. This is fucking badass.
Yeah. And when I experience things like that from Sony, I'm like, why can't they do that with their actual films? Because
I don't know, dude.
Because they've stumbled so many times with Spider-Man. I just don't get how they can do something like Spider-Verse and just have it be amazing, and also make Venom Carnage. Oh my god, I don't want to talk about that.
Have you seen it yet? You still haven't seen it, have you?
No, that's not even a priority.
That's not a priority. Bad. It is so fucking bad.
It just okay. So I walked out of the first Venom. It was that bad. I walked out like maybe like 30 minutes in. I got my money back. I was like, I've never done this before in my entire life, but I want my fucking money back. And they're like, all right, here you go, sir. Which I appreciated. And then just seeing Venom in Homecoming, I was just like, this character does not look like it's gotten any better. And it's just I'm just not happy that Tom Holland Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, could exist alongside like Venom and all this other shit that's just so bad. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, no, it's Venom Carnage is a abomination of a film. It's pretty fucking wild that it pretty wild that and no one stopped in the middle and said we should stop this.
Well, I don't know if you remember, after the first one came out, like Tom Hardy was like talking shit about the movie, so I didn't think he would even return for a sequel. And
I mean, maybe contractually obligated to return for the sequel. Dude, I will say though, I hate it. I hate that this is how I feel about it. This is just gonna get them the balls to keep going with this shit. The Kraven the Hunter trailer looks fucking badass.
I didn't even watch it.
It looks fucking badass.
Okay. Well, we'll get into it, but I'm on strike for Sony. So
for Sony.
Yeah. Because
no, I feel it. I probably won't watch any other one of these things, but I might go see that. I just love Aaron Taylor Johnson though, man. I'm a huge fan of him, and it looks pretty fucking. It looks like they're going all the way. Well, they're going all the way R for it. Okay. So, and they didn't do that for Venom. But they're going all the way R for Kraven the Hunter.
Was there any clarification on which universe or which timeline Kraven is in?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it looks pretty badass, and I hate that. I hate that it looks that badass.
More badass than Morbius?
Let me gather myself a second. Oh, dude, I just every time I can't not unsee that CGI waterfall at the beginning of Morbius. Every fucking time I think about the movie, I'm like, that movie started on such a gross note. What a movie! What a fucking movie!
God, what's his name? Why can't I think of the actor's name?
Morbius?
Yeah.
Jared Leto.
He can't catch a break, man. He had an iconic Joker, and now he came to save the Spider-Verse, and they don't want to see him win, if I'm being honest.
I mean, he's got a sex cult. I think he's doing fine.
He does?
Yeah, I've told you about this.
I thought that was Chris Pratt.
No, Chris Pratt is part of a Christian cult.
Jesus.
Jared Leto has a sex cult.
All right.
A bunch of people worship him. They all wear white. It's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah, religion and all that. I'm gonna go the other way. Yeah. The aliens are here, by the way, so it's like, you know, just take
the scrolls, they're all over the place.
Take a second and think about the events that happened in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. And it's crazy to me too that the aliens are finally here, and nobody even cares. People are so concerned about other shit, and it's like, dude, there's literally aliens in this family's backyard.
Wait, I didn't see this. What happened in Las Vegas?
Conspiracy
me, my dude.
This is not conspiracy. There's 100% video evidence from a bunch of different sources. Okay, so this family, they hear this loud crash in their backyard. They were like, "What the hell is that?" So they go outside and they see this. They describe it, 8 to 10 foot creature, greenish grayish skin, big black eyes, really skinny, not wearing any clothes, and they have video of it like ducked out in their backyard behind like this like trailer, and there's body cam footage from the police of seeing the craft crashing, not into the ground, but you see like this crazy like ball of light just hit this like fall through the sky, and like other neighbors have it on like their ring. And
what is this guy, the John McCain of aliens? Like, what the fuck?
No, it's just this random family, and then they're like and there's all this like weird like, and this is where the conspiracy comes in, right? Like they call the Las Vegas police department. They come out, and like there's like, you can go see like the body cam of like the police officers getting the call, going out and talking to the family, whatever. But then a couple of days later, the family claims that the Las Vegas police department came back to like install cameras and do all this stuff. But then the police department, they're saying that, oh no, we never went back. So now they're saying, oh, that wasn't the Las Vegas police department, it was the Men in Black. Family disappears allegedly, and there's all this like weird stuff going on, but they have video evidence.
Oh, dude, sick. Men in Black are real.
Yeah, so the aliens are here, where shit's getting crazy.
I mean, I don't want to talk about this any longer. I like my life. I don't want to get my memory erased and have to move somewhere. And what does Tommy Lee Jones end up doing? Gardening? I would be so bad at that. I'd be such a bad gardener. I don't need that.
Okay, family, bunch of pussies. They just filmed this alien, dude. Okay, if I'm being honest,
should have invited it into the house.
No, I'm gonna beat up that alien, 100%. If an
alien friend,
no friends, they're us from the future. They're descendants of Elon Musk. But anyways, if an alien,
yeah, you're probably fucking right. Honestly,
if I'm chilling at home, alien crash lands in my backyard, and there's this veil of mystery forever about aliens, I'm gonna risk my life. I'm gonna die tackling this alien and putting him on my Instagram live or something. I'm not just gonna be scared. I'm gonna just risk it all.
But he's naked.
So
he's done the one thing that you do if you don't want to get in a fight, is you get naked beforehand. Nobody wants to fight a naked guy.
But they have no sex organs, so I don't care.
Are you sure they don't have any sex organs?
Yes. Aliens, they fuck telepathically. See, now I look crazy. I probably should have said that, but
they fuck telepathically. All right. Okay.
It's over. There's no need for genitals in the future, Tyler Short. Neuralink, which is right around the corner, we're gonna be able
Dude,
to.
I hate that you're right. Statistically speaking, the us from the future will be related to Elon Musk. That guy's got 9 kids. I've got no kids.
Yeah, it's it's not so scary because it's just like, okay, finally, there's like the government, the world leaders, whoever, the Illuminati, for them to continue to try to deny all this. It's just like, dude, Bob Lazar was right. Shout out to Bob Lazar. That's like my final stand. It's like when I think about, when I take a step back and this like weird fascination of, are we alone or whatever, it's just like, dude, Bob Lazar has been telling us for years and he was not capping. He was way ahead of his time, and I'm surprised he's still alive. It's crazy. Okay, well, let's get back to Spider-Verse, because I could go on about aliens.
Let's get out of Coast to Coast and back into Spider-Verse.
Yeah. I, for some reason, have a terrible memory when it comes to this film.
I pulled the plot up.
Oh, good. Thank you. All right. You guide us through this. But before we get into the plot, just overall, walking away, were you satisfied? Were you like bummed out? Or like, how would you describe your feelings walking away from that movie?
It was edging.
Okay.
The last like 40 minutes of that movie was just edging. Like unable to bust, just edging, thinking like, oh my god, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be, oh, this is crazy. Oh my god, it's gonna get crazier. And I even had the moment where I was like, how are they gonna wrap this shit up in 15 minutes? I know the movie's got to be coming to a close.
Mm-hmm.
And then next time, motherfuckers. So that was how I felt walking out of this. Was, huh?
Yeah, I got this weird anxiety because I was like thinking, there's no way they can tell a good story to wrap this up, because I know that I've been in this theater for a long time.
Yeah, and they just straight up went into this movie planning on telling you, fuck off, come back next time.
Yeah, which
I think is sick.
Yeah, the friends that I went with, they really didn't like that, but I didn't mind, because to me, it just seems like they were trying to recreate that feeling from when people walked away from Infinity War, right? Because it's just like, oh, the snap happened, we lost, and like, wait, the movie's actually ending right here. We have to wait until Endgame to have some sort of like resolution to all of this.
Yeah.
What
it really is, it's not Infinity War, it's Empire Strikes Back.
True. But yeah, but I just couldn't understand how my friends were just so like upset about it. I'm like, dude, like the movie was good.
Badass.
Yeah, the movie was good. We got to do it again. It
was very, very fun. It was a very fun movie. I'm not sure if this was just the theater we were in, but that whole first section with Gwen Stacy was so fucking quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Ashton were both like looking at each other like, is the fucking sound like off? Like, are we the only ones noticed? Are we just deaf? Like, I'm having like an existential crisis right now. Like, do I need closed captioning? Like, has hardcore ruined my life to this extent where like I'm at a fucking movie theater, but like after it moved from the Gwen Stacy story, even like once like she like starts fighting the Vulture,
mm-hmm.
the sound kind of came alive and we were good. And then once it switched to the Miles story, I was like, okay, I can hear everything now. But when it was initially just the Gwen Stacy story, which was a bummer way to open this fucking movie up,
mm-hmm.
like explaining what happened to her Peter, that sucks.
Yeah,
I didn't know because I don't know hardly anything about Spider-Gwen. Is that like canonically her story, that in her universe Peter becomes the Lizard?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, I didn't know that, so that took me by a surprise.
Yeah, one thing that I focus on when it comes to Spider-Gwen, who is an amazing character in her universe, her realm, whatever, Matt Murdock is like a bad guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, but which I'm just like, oh god, this is crazy because obviously Daredevil's like one of my favorite characters. So to see him in
And they're
a
friends in like Spider-Man is friends with Daredevil, like in the main canon.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so to see him just kind of have like that role reversal where he's like the ultimate bad guy, it's like, oh, this is very interesting.
That's pretty badass.
But the whole Spider-Gwen section, I liked that whole like prologue. Is that fair to call it like a prologue?
Yeah, I mean they just
yeah, just the art style though, because you know obviously two different distinct art styles from.
Yes, that was so cool.
Mhm.
The switch up of the art styles was awesome. In such a cool way to demonstrate the differences in the realities and the universes. That was
Be real.
best-ish.
When her dad finds out that she's Spider-Gwen and he still tries to arrest her, what the hell?
Dude, yeah.
That pissed me off. I'm like, come on.
Mhm.
Where's the compassion? Like, you know, because she's like, dude, like, be my
Cop
dad.
brain, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
brain.
She was like, dude, be my dad and not a fucking cop.
They're not people. They're not dads. They're cops. They're a cop first.
It was insane. I
Yeah.
thought, yeah. It's like, dude,
For
that's
real though, I mean, spoiler alert for later in this podcast, the dad, King though, walked away from it.
yeah. He had some
Hey,
time
Cat.
to reflect and, you know, realize.
Decide the most positive thing he can do is stop being a cop. He's right.
Yeah. And maybe it saved his life.
Yes. Dude, fucking brilliant. That was such a cool twist.
But
So Spider-Gwen fights the Vulture from the Leonardo da Vinci universe.
which was cool.
I thought that looked fucking great.
There was a line from one of the like normal like museum goers or art exhibit goers, like once the like fight was kind of settling, he's like, oh, it's a Banksy. And I was just dying. I was like, this is so
fucking awesome, dude.
yeah, just because
That ruled.
yeah, because I'm a fan of Banksy and I do like art installations and stuff. So for someone to just be there and to see this crazy shit go down and for them to assume that it's just Banksy trying to do some like elaborate shit, I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking funny. Dude, this movie had such a good humor to it. I thought. I really liked that. So we get Gwen's dad is a cop and she says fuck it. She joins the Spider-Man 2099 and the Spider-Woman on motorcycle.
Yeah.
And decides to be a multi-universal spider person, which is neat. I thought that whole fight with the Vulture was badass.
Yeah, no, I thought it was awesome because I loved his art style. Not the biggest fan of Vulture, but just to see him that way, I thought it was pretty sick.
Also, he was running roughshod over those three spider people.
Well,
he was fucking them up.
Yeah, I to be fair, I've never been into Spider-Man 2099 just because in the comic books, like super futuristic. I don't like the design, so it just never really interested me. I am a fan of Spider-Woman. So shout out Jessica Drew, and they went with like an older version of Spider-Woman because a lot of people were like, oh, like is she always African American? It's like, yeah, like OG Jessica Drew, go back. They pulled some classic Jessica Drew, which I was a fan of, and I was really impressed with the fighting on the motorcycle because that's something that I didn't think
it looked cool.
She would do, and she was like pregnant the whole time, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah,
this is pretty fucking cool. It can't be good for the pregnancy, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like
it's a spider baby though.
Don't call me when that baby comes out. I don't want to know its fate, but
it's a spider baby. It's probably more resilient than a normal baby.
Hopefully.
But yeah, so she walks through the portal, and then we get into Miles, and he is a sad boy. He's down bad.
He is down bad, which I'm so surprised that obviously huge crush on Spider-Gwen, which I totally blame him. Yeah, which I totally get, but it's like with no plan or even way of even getting to like her universe or bringing her to your universe, it's like, dude, I would have given up.
Yeah, 18 months. It says, or no, 16 months. 16 months after the or no, it's after the destruction, which no, that movie takes place over the course of like a few days, I feel like. So yeah, it's been over a year, dude. Get over it. But yeah, so he runs into the Spot, who dude, that fucking scene when he's trying to shove that goddamn ATM through the floor.
Yeah, he like walks into the bodega. He's like, "Oh, you got an
That part
ATM?"
was so fucking great. That part rocked. That
Yeah.
fight, all the fight with Spot was so cool. Like the way he would end up like punching himself, and then also like the way Spot would end up like fucking himself with his holes as well, which sounds way more wrong when I just said it than I intended it to. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, not the biggest fan of Spot. Just
He's just silly. He's just a silly guy.
yeah, but I was just like watching. I was like, okay, how does he go from this goofy villain who can't even steal an ATM to being like this huge threat? It's like, all right, let me just like suspend my belief for a little bit just to go with the film.
Well, I do like the idea that like he's just been made a freak and then now he can't support himself. So he's going to crime because he's just this thing. It's like I mean, I feel like that's the thing. That's my. I think what happens to so many Spider-Man villains is they go through this traumatic thing and they become something, and then they just start doing crime because, like, how are they gonna? What the fuck's Electro gonna get? Where's he gonna go work?
Yeah, at that point, you got to give up on normal life. Like, you're not gonna be able to work like a 9 to 5.
Yeah. What if you just get sucked into an electrical socket, like, and then you get fired from your office job because they were watching you and they were counting your keystrokes and you disappeared for a while. Like, sorry, I got stuck in my computer. Oh yeah, really?
That's crazy. I didn't even know that offices do that.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. They're actually starting to do that to people who are working from home, which is why working from home is a bad idea.
Yeah, I know people have been busted because they'll have like a program to like simulate like their mouse moving. So when the company goes and checks on that, because I know that was one way to see like, if you're like active or whatever.
They ask for like control of your computer camera so they can check and make sure you're at your fucking computer. Fuck that, dude. If your job only takes 2 hours a day to do, you should only have to work for 2 hours a day.
I agree.
Just saying.
I'm not against it.
Yeah, fuck all these, fuck these jobs, fuck them all. But yeah, anyways, Spot can't get a real job though. So he ends up taking Miles and his dad back to where it all began. You find out that Spot is the reason why Miles is a spider person.
Yeah, he was trying to take full credit for that.
Yeah, he stole the spider, or he accidentally stole the spider from a different universe, and that is why Miles became a spider person in a spider world, in a world with a spider person that already existed.
Did you buy that? Because I felt like he was trying to like diminish Miles as a Spider-Man because he was like, yeah, like that was because of me, but it's like, even when Peter Parker got bit, it was an accident. It's not like he went out to go get bit.
Oh yeah, no, but I do think it really sets up that later when you find out like, oh, like if that would have never happened, Peter would have still been alive in Miles' universe.
Yeah, but
because of that, there's now no Spider-Man in another universe, which ends up with a pretty cool part later in the movie. Then Spot ends up putting himself into a void, and then Gwen travels to Miles' universe, and he thinks she's just there to hang out with him, and in fact, she's actually there to find Spot and figure shit out, and she does. Then they end up in India, Mumbattan, which is arguably when this movie gets incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna attempt to say Indian Spider-Man's name because I will fuck it up.
Yeah, I was reading it like when they were like showing it like on screen. I was like,
I'm honestly looking at it spelled, and I can remember how they kind of said it, and I am not even gonna try because it's gonna be offensive.
it's fine. We can.
But he rocked.
Yeah, and that was a cool thing because this whole movie, right? They were going to show a bunch of different Spider people that haven't been on before. Because obviously, with the first one had a really cool cast of characters that normally don't get the shine. So for them to do that in this one again, I thought was pretty awesome because even in the comic books, like there's a lot of these people that don't have their own current comic books or don't pop up that often. You only see them in these like big crossover events.
Yeah, and Mumbattan looked so cool. It looked so cool. It looked like the Fifth Element New York. It looked so badass. It was very cool. So many levels. It was so neat. I loved it. It was very, very neat. And he looked great. His fit was sick. His colors were cool. All the art there was cool. It was great. And then we are introduced to Spider-Punk, who is the best character.
just does not care about anything. Just such a badass.
He was, every time he was on screen, me and Ashton were gripping. We were fucking so psyched every time. He's so cool.
And something cool for me is like I'm not super familiar with Spider-Punk. Like I used to play this mobile game called Marvel Strike Force, and on one of the team builds that was good was like Web Warriors, and the Spider-Punk was a character that you could use. So I was able to unlock that character, and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. Has a good guitar and punk rock, whatever. And I never knew what the character looked like. Was it a guy or a girl, whatever? But to see Spider-Punk in this movie, I was like, oh, cool. I can put like a face to this character that I've only played in a video game. So it was a cool thing for me to be able to see that, and for him to be such a cool character.
Yeah, and he looked so cool. His art was really awesome. I'd be really interested if they go to Spider-Punk's universe in the next movie at all, and we get to see what that looks like. Because it looks like a crumpled up flyer. Like he constantly, when he moves, he looks like a crumpled up flyer. I thought that was so cool the way they did all of his art. And I feel like I'm gonna fuck up some of this just because I'm looking at the plot, but I'm like remembering things a little bit out of hand. But so that whole fucking scene is so gnarly with the India Spider-Man, Spider-Punk, Spider-Gwen, and Miles trying to save people while shit is going haywire in Mumbattan. But then Miles goes and saves
his dad.
His dad. Not his dad, his wife's or his girl, his Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Saves her dad.
Which
is the Chief. And you find out that this is a canon event.
Yes.
And that's when people show up and they get very mad at Miles for this.
Because he interfered.
He's disturbed something that has now going to fuck this universe up. Because there's certain things that you can change, and there's certain things that you absolutely cannot change. And I liked that. I liked that explanation. And I really liked how they then demonstrated it across all fucking universes how this has happened, because it happened in the what's the Andrew Garfield one?
The Amazing Spider-Man, right?
Is that the Amazing Spider-Man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it happened in the Andrew Garfield one with Dennis Leary dying, which I thought that was so cool that they showed that fucking real footage. That was neat. But I think at this point you do get one of, because Miles is immediately so jealous of Spider-Punk because he thinks that Gwen's got a crush on him. And when he takes his mask off and Miles goes, "Whoa, you're even cooler looking without your mask." And he goes, "I was always this cool looking." fucking phenomenal. He's the funniest character in the movie. He's everything he says. I was cackling. It was great. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. Oh, I forgot. So before all this happens, Miles's dad is getting promoted to be police chief,
Mm-hmm.
and they have that party for him on the rooftop.
Okay.
And this is the part of the movie that made me embarrass Ashton in the theater.
What'd you do to Ashton?
So he's got those cakes.
Mm-hmm.
And they have he had them write this long message on a cake to the point where he had to go on to a second cake.
Mm-hmm.
And when he delivers the cakes, he goes, "There's a really heartfelt message on the cake." And when he opens it, it just says, "I am not proud."
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking laughed so hard. Ashton told me to shut up.
It was that bad.
I was the only one laughing. I was the only one laughing that hard. She hit me, told me to shut up. But then this is the second most funny thing that happened during the movie. So then after that scene, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, is having a heart-to-heart with his mom. It's when she ungrounds him, but just for the night, so he can go off and chase his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
His girlfriend, air quotes. And they're having this heartfelt moment. Just Miles Morales and his mom talking about responsibility and growing up and, being more mature and being accountable and, all these things. And this 9-year-old kid, 3 seats away from me, this scene's been going on for a while. He goes, "Boring."
Oh my god.
And I lost my fucking mind. I laughed so hard. No one else in the theater was laughing at this kid's outburst like I was. I was fucking dying. I think about it every single day since that movie theater because that kid's comedic timing was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
That scene did go on for a while when they're having that conversation. And I was even thinking yeah, I get it.
So wrap it up. It's not that deep.
Hits it with a boring and just, oh, dude, fucking phenomenal. I want that kid in every single. I legitimately wish I had become friends with the kid and invited him to go to more movies with me because it would have been weird because he's 9.
Mm-hmm.
But I just I'm an absolute fan of this child. He's got a real future in interrupting movies.
Okay,
it's great. But yeah, back where we were moving. Miles is in trouble and he gets pulled into the Spider Hub, and you see lots of cool stuff. You see Donald Glover.
That might be the coolest thing that they showed when he was doing the walkthrough.
That was awesome.
Because for people who don't remember, in Homecoming, right? It's Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man comes across Donald Glover or Uncle Aaron, aka the Prowler, and at this point you don't know anything about the Prowler, but if you know the comic books, you do know who he is. So when he's talking to Miles, or excuse me, when he's talking to Peter Parker in that parking garage, and he's just like, "Yo, like, I got a nephew that lives in this neighborhood." And you're like, he's referencing Miles Morales. So that was like such a cool thing to be able to see him now in this Miles Morales movie, and he's actually in the Prowler suit. He obviously doesn't have the helmet on, but for him to be in that suit, I was like, that's so fucking cool. So for them to carry that over, I thought it was super awesome.
Yeah, no, that was cool. All the stuff in the Spider Hub was very cool. The visuals were awesome. All the different Spider Freaks were great. Yeah, it was awesome. It was very cool. And then that's when you find out about the canon events. That's when basically you find out that the reason why they haven't told Miles about the Spider Society is because his chief hasn't died yet too. also he's not supposed to be Spider-Man, so they're kind of prejudiced against him for that as well.
Yeah, I felt like Spider 2099 was a huge dick for like no reason.
He's a fascist.
Yeah, and that shit, I was like, is this how he really is in the comic books? Now I'm just like, okay, this is gonna make me want to go read it because I fucking hate this character. And
yeah, he's an asshole.
Yeah,
he's real crazy.
And then when to me, it kind of felt like the walls were like closing in on Miles, and it seemed like nobody had his back, not even Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, wait, was this like an intervention? I was like, damn, everybody's a snake. Fuck.
Oh, and Nick Miller Spider-Man.
Amazing.
He's steals the show again. Also, his Spider Child was so good, which also is responsible for one of Spider-Punk's other hilarious lines when the Spider Baby is crawling all over the place, and it cuts over to Spider-Punk, and he goes, "The kid's an anarchist." I fucking died. It's so funny. But yeah, that was awesome. Ruled. Nick Miller Spider-Man was so great in this one again. I will always call him Nick Miller Spider-Man.
Yeah, that character's iconic. Shout out New Girl.
Shout out New Girl, dude. Fucking rules. But yeah, that fucking rocked. But yeah, then Spider-Punk helps Miles break loose, and then
does he help
the Spider people? Yes, Spider-Punk's the one who gives him. Spider-Punk does all the he comes through clutch for everybody.
I thought he just used his own powers to break out of the cage. Is that what you're talking about?
No, Spider-Punk. Or remember, Spider-Punk reminds him of the hands, because Miles can do that electric.
Yeah,
can build the electric thing, and while Miles is like getting trapped in the thing, Spider-Punk puts his, because earlier.
Yeah,
he shows him.
Yeah.
He's like, no, use your whole hand, and that'll get more energy. And he reminds Miles to do that, and then Miles does it, and then that's when Spider-Punk says, "All right, I'm gonna fuck off. I don't want to be a part of this." And then he fucks off, so he doesn't have to do any of the fucking dirty work of trying to apprehend Miles.
Well, because he's a real one. He
is a real one. He's the fucking G. He's the fucking G of the story. He's great, phenomenal. Yeah. Love him.
Because for everyone. And for me, I didn't like. I understood the canon events, but just the type of person that I am, I feel like my thought process is like more aligned with Miles, where I'm like, fuck that. Like, just because these are quote unquote canon events, like we should at least try. Like, you really want me to sit here and just accept that my dad's gonna get killed when I can maybe prevent that and break us out of this whole canon event things? Like, I get it, it's happened in every other universe, but that doesn't mean it has to happen in mine as well. Like, if I can prevent it. So for everyone to have like that group think, I was like, oh, this is so scary. Like, I get the
mob mentality, but it also makes me imagine a world where there's an emergent Miles Morales before the events of Civil War, and you end up with Peter Parker on one side and Miles Morales on the other. Because Miles would have sided with Cap.
Mm-hmm.
He would have absolutely sided with Cap. He would have said, no, I've got to try. I've always got to try. I can't just sit on my hands. No.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. But then all of Spider Society follows him and chases him. And then they chase him up that fucking whatever that transport thing is.
Yeah, like that train. Like a bullet train.
That he's been drawing them all away.
Yeah, so he can have enough time to use the machine to get back. But I'm not like, when it comes to comic books, like the Spider-Verse isn't like my thing. Like, I will enjoy a nice Spider book, but there were so many just like generic Spider people in like that whole scene. I'm like, this is, to me, feels like kind of like a throwaway, because even some of the people from the first film weren't even there till like later. So I was just like, why can't they actually use like more real characters? I don't know if it was maybe like like an IP thing, they couldn't get clearance or whatever, but it's just it's like, oh, there's like a bunch of weird generic people. This is not that cool. because going
Yeah.
into it, because I wasn't really paying attention. Going into it, they're like, yeah, like you're gonna see every Spider character in here, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. And
I mean, I think maybe they just didn't want to crowd out the main characters that were in it, because there were a lot of main characters in this movie.
mhm.
So I think like to give like prime real estate to other real characters would have possibly detracted. But also, definitely the reason why you didn't see any of those characters from the first Spider-Man, aside from Homegirl in the mech,
Mhm.
is I would guess that Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir,
Mhm.
possibly they wouldn't have played well with not going and telling Miles
Oh, about
about everything.
yeah.
So maybe they were shunned from Spider Society as well.
That makes sense. I didn't think about that in that way.
Yeah, because I would imagine that's something you've got to be kosher with, is if you bonded with Miles, you're probably a little bit of a toxic, especially to Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah,
who
where
is a fucking fascist.
yeah. And can I express my biggest issue with this film? It might not be the biggest thing to other people, but going into this, right, I'm being sold, yeah, you're going to see so many spider people from all different comic books, whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool, that means I finally get to see Silk, aka Cindy Moon, who not just because she's Asian, but honestly one of the coolest spider characters ever. And I'm like, I'm waiting for it, right? With every scene that they're in the hub, I'm like, all right, there's that person, there's this person. Cindy Moon's, on her way, and just jumping to the end. There's no Silk, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened?
I mean, you don't see Madam Web either, and doesn't Madam Web like have like everything to do with the way the Spider-Verse is like connected to one another?
100%, but I don't give a fuck about her.
But I'm saying,
yes,
maybe movie 3.
I'm
your girl comes through in movie 3.
I doubt it. Why would you? Okay, and she's obviously like, she's popular. She could be a main character, but it just, why would they wait to the third one? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that just pissed me off, where I just walked away and I'm just like, why? This is a character who was getting their own like actual like featured film from Sony.
No, think about just dreamcasting right now.
Okay.
To make you feel better, and imagine a conclusion to this that would be incredible. There is a universe without a spider person.
Mm-hmm.
It is the one where the spider came from that bit Miles to cause 2 people in one. What if this universe ends up with a new spider person, and what if it ends up being your girl?
Silk. That'd be great.
Wouldn't that rock? That would rock.
That would rock. But do you want to know how I want to see this all end? And I know we're
not written yet. Maybe we just manifested this.
Okay. Well, can I manifest us in a different direction if we have those powers? Okay. Clearly, every spider film is incorporated, right? Where it's all in the same universe. I want to see. I don't know how they could get there, but I want to see this whole thing wrap up right in a perfect bow where Miles breaks out of this animated universe
and ends up in the real.
Yes, that's the perfect way to.
I've heard the kid who voices him is like trying to physically train to be in Spider-Man shape to play the character in real life. That's how it should be. I know. That would be an amazing. That would be a fucking. If that ends up in being how this concludes, even if it's in a fucking Sony fucking Spider-Man movie, I'll go see it.
And granted,
this would be a brilliant way to do it.
Let's do Sony Marvel. Kevin Feige start hitting up the people. Miles Morales. Can you imagine? Right?
It'd be awesome, dude.
It'd be fucking
so
insane.
Yeah. No, I think that would be fucked.
And it could still operate how it does in the comic books, right? Peter Parker, New York is big enough for 2 Spider people, and I think they could do it like successfully. So like that's my dream scenario.
With an older Peter Parker who's gonna have to be taking care of his business and running Parker Industries and all that shit. So like, Yeah, I don't know. But so yeah, Miles draws them all away from fucking Spider Hub, goes back, does his little invisible shit, and kind of tricks Spider Bite.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets into the point where he's going to get transferred out.
But
and there's one moment where Spider Bite can stop him,
and she doesn't.
She doesn't. Fuck yeah!
I saw the twist from a mile away. Was it that obvious to you?
Which twist?
Where he ends up not in his universe.
No, I did not see that coming, but I knew it the second he showed his mom, or he told his mom. I went, oh fuck, he ended up in the wrong universe. And then I was like, oh, he ended up because of the spider.
Yeah.
And then I was immediately like unnerved. I was like, oh, something's gonna be very wrong in this universe.
Yeah, that's where my anxiety started to set in, where I'm like, wait, he's in the wrong universe. The movie has to be coming to an end. How are they gonna wrap this up nice and neat? I was like,
that's where my brain started going too.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize it immediately that he was in the wrong universe, but when he's talking to his mom, that's when I realized it. And then I started looking at the time and going, yeah, how are y'all gonna finish this shit now?
And can you imagine he finally built up the courage to reveal his biggest secret to the people that he like, or to one of two people that he cares about most in the world, about how they would look at him, and for it to not even be like the right mom. I was like, oh,
and the response be, who?
Yeah, I was like, what the
fucking badass, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that part was awesome. But yeah, and then I'm trying to remember how Gwen figures out that he's, oh no, she just tries to go. Oh, she gets kicked back home. She goes home, finds out her dad has quit being a cop and become a real one, the real hero. And then that's when her dad is like, yo, somebody stopped by and brought this. And you realize her dad is so much cooler than he ever was before. Because he also hung out with Spider-Punk, which by proxy made him cool as fuck. And Spider-Punk dropped his bracelet off.
So she could, because she got banned from Spider-Hub because
he knew she was going to do that.
Yeah.
He knew she'd probably get banned because he is the king.
But see, but at this point, I'm already sour on Spider-Gwen because she wasn't totally upfront with Miles.
She just wanted to belong, though.
Yeah, no, but like
she wanted to belong somewhere.
But she knew, but she knew why they were, like trying to like kind of like not being so welcoming to him. And then he even realizes it, right? Like when she came to visit him, it wasn't like 100% because she wanted to see him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, that is such a bummer, because obviously the feelings, they have feelings for each other, but the feelings that he had for her, like he just was like
down bad.
Yeah, down bad. But he was just kind of fooled, I guess. Yeah, and that was just such a bummer to me. And
I mean, not gonna lie though, that's such a real fucking Spider-Man story though.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That is a classic Spider-Man story.
Yeah, but
fucking love lost and fucking lovesick and getting fucking disappointed.
But with every Spider-Man, right, there's a Gwen Stacy. Where's his Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Sorry, go back to your weird universe. You're a liar. Go hang out with 2099. I'm gonna go find my Mary Jane. I'm over you.
Well, no, his Mary Jane was fucking married to the goddamn Peter Parker who's dead.
Yeah, well, this is where it gets dark and twisted.
Unless Mary Jane's gonna rob the literal cradle.
This is where it gets dark and twisted. She has a type.
Spider-Man.
There you go. Okay, wait, real quick. There's the scene where Spider-Gwen and Miles are in his bedroom, and she grabs his sketchbook, and she sees the drawings of herself, right? Have you seen the memes
the manga he wrote about her?
Well, I haven't seen the manga. I've seen the one where she's like kind of like squatted down, has like a fat ass.
That's fucking bad.
Yeah, I was dying because he's drawing her like she's like super
Spider
thick.
perp. That's fucking awesome. That rocks.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you. It's amazing. But
That's so fucking sick.
yeah, the internet's wild because they were quick with that one.
That's so badass. That's awesome. Yeah, the internet's great sometimes, not often.
Okay, so
That's so cool.
she gets the bracelet from Spider-Punk, goes to the right Miles universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I also found interesting was
she assembles Squad, though, right?
No, that's at the very end.
Has she not assembled? She goes. Oh no, she goes to the right. Yeah, she goes to the right Miles universe, and then finds out that he's in the wrong universe, and then she assembles Squad and goes to.
Yeah, but the one thing that I found interesting was that she was being tracked by Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
And Spider-Woman didn't even try to stop her. She was kind of, is she, I'm kind of curious, is she like coming around and realizing that 2099 is being a little bit crazy and she wants to see it play out to see if there can be some real change, that these canon events can be reworked? And
so I think, yes, you're right. And I also think that she feels a mentorship over Gwen.
Mm-hmm. Because she was the one that kind of.
Yes, and therefore doesn't want to interfere with her trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like she doesn't want to crush her dreams. And she sees how good of a leader she is too. Dude, honestly, this is such a good movie of not having of a bunch of really strong characters not overshadowing each other.
Which is hard.
Very hard.
But do you think it's easier or better done this way because it's an animated film? You're not really dealing with like real ego and personality from like actors and actresses.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, dude. Also, just all the voice acting in it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't remember what that fucking movie is. That fucking teen flick that I've talked about whenever we've talked about Hawkeye, that I saw Haley Steinfeld in, and it was like the first thing I'd really seen her in.
Pitch Perfect.
And then her and Hawkeye, and I really, really like her, and I think she did a really good job with the voice acting, and fucking Oscar Isaac did a really good job playing the villain in this movie.
Yeah, he kind of looks like him too.
He really does.
Yeah, I was like, did they do that on purpose? I don't know.
But yeah, man, I do think that definitely plays into the fact that we're dealing with voice actors and not real actors, because then you got to argue for screen time and this, that, and the other, and that is in play. And that's also what makes this, I think, what makes these Spider-Verse movies so special too. That some of these the last Spider-Man movie did to me, and some of these Marvel movies are becoming capable of doing. And I think what DC wishes it could do correctly is make these movies feel like reading a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Make the story feel like it can really go anywhere and anything's possible and anybody can show up. And even though your girl didn't show up in this movie, maybe she will next time. Every one of these movies, or these last two, have expanded on the scope and cast. So
100%.
Maybe they'll expand it a little more to make some room for your girl in the next one.
One thing that they did really well again is the soundtrack did such a great job at like setting the tone for the shot. Like they were like obviously like really strategic with the songs that they chose, and when they would play them, I felt like it just fit perfectly throughout the movie. There wasn't like one point where there was a song playing where I'm like, oh, this doesn't really feel right. I just felt like they nailed it like in that department.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, dude, it's a perfect comic book film, just like the first one was. I think the first one's better.
I agree.
Just because nothing's gonna match that groundbreaking visual. Like this one, we knew what to expect. Although I did love, like you mentioned, the difference in the animations that we got.
Yeah, which was brilliant because you got to realize that they're taking us and like they're just kind of showing us that like these animated films, you can get really creative with the art style, right? Because when you look at a lot of other stuff, it just no diss to like like Disney or anything, but like when you look at a lot of the current animated stuff, a lot of it looks the same, where I'm like, yeah, that looks like it could be in the same universe. This is just so weird. But for them to be bold and do something so awesome like Spider-Verse, I think it's really cool, and it works.
Gwen's universe being like watercolors was so cool.
Yeah, and to be able to see her, and not even just her, but like just the whole environment, and like in so many different color schemes, and and to like to have it like affect mood. I was like, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah, no, you're right, dude. They did such a good job with matching the visuals to the tone. Like even like when things got more ethereal, it was like more emotional. And yeah, no, it was very cool. I really liked it. I definitely think that the last 20 to 30 minutes was just edging to a conclusion that they were that you don't realize isn't coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you really realize, like, oh, they're gonna fucking leave me hanging. They're gonna give me fucking blue balls with this movie right now. Are you fucking kidding me? I think that's awesome, and I also think that it was very sick that we had to wait so long for this movie, and I felt like it was worth the wait.
I'm just so curious about the universe that Miles got sent to. Like, why is his uncle such a pussy? Right?
Because he's the fucking the Omen in this in this universe. He's the Prowler, and he's even badder than his uncle.
But why is Miles such a dick too? It's like, if things got that crazy and I saw myself from another universe, I wouldn't want to be
his
evil.
Dad's dead too.
Yeah, I get he could be like
that'll happen.
Like angry, but Miles didn't kill his dad. Shit, Miles trying to save his dad. It's like,
but not his dad. His dad in his universe.
True.
This kid actually gets it that in his universe he's fucked.
Yeah, see, that's why.
Why not? Why not do bad shit?
That's why he needed.
There's no Spider-Man to stop me.
He needs a Peter Parker in his life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that Peter Parker in his life didn't get bit by a spider.
And also, how did Miles get surprised? Like, no spider sense to dodge getting knocked out. Do you think he was?
I would say maybe he's just so thrown off. Also, who knows? Maybe interacting with yourself in another universe is different.
Yeah. The only thing that I could come up with was he was probably just so elated to see his uncle again that he probably just let his guard way down.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was thrilled to see his uncle for a second.
Yeah, but
and then it kind of dawns on him his dad's not there.
And then he ends up tied up and about to get destroyed. How does he get out of that situation?
We'll see. We'll find out in 2.5 years.
That is such a long time. 2.5 years. Where in 2.5 years, I'll have done so much. I'll have checked off so many things on my bucket list. I'll have gone to Louisville and back.
Fuck yeah, you will.
I'm still going, by the way. I'm telling everybody, so I got to hold myself accountable.
You have to. Yes.
But that's crazy. Yeah. Overall, great movie. I enjoyed it. Definitely looking forward to the next one. But yeah, I can't believe it's gonna be that long till the next one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just assume it's gonna be forever because not only the writer's strike, but this one took forever to make. So
yeah, I also
were making them simultaneously.
I think it was projected March or May of 2024, if I'm being honest.
Okay, well, fuck. I mean, let's go.
Okay,
I'll take another one of these next year. I will say, I'm interested in the studio that made this,
and
seeing this animation style used to tell more stories outside of Spider-Man.
I'm trying to think.
Very good.
Yeah, but it's hard because Spider-Man's so iconic, and they have the advantage of having like a Spider-Verse, because not every superhero has something like, like there's no Iron Man verse.
Yeah, but I'm saying like where like Pixar made its like fucking name in the stories that it was able to tell. I think that I should have looked up like the studio that made these Spider-Verse movies. Like, this animation style is so cool. And I would like it to be applied to more stories, because I would go see just a story that doesn't have anything to do with Spider-Man. That's just an original story done like this, because it's fucking sick.
It's dude. It's literally done by Sony Pictures Animation.
Well, Sony Pictures Animation, the one good Sony property.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what they've done.
Because I mean, whatever this is different.
Dude, they did the Emoji Movie. Show some respect.
They did the Emoji Movie.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at
the Emoji Movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at their like filmography. They've done a bunch of weird
the
stuff.
The Emoji Movie is on par with Boss Baby as one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Why would you watch that stuff? I'm not watching Boss Baby if I have a choice.
Straight up though, dude. Okay, so Boss Baby is a fucking insane movie. That they got a lot of misses, but that YouTube channel that does the honest trailers.
Okay.
If you watch Boss Baby, it is worth it just to watch the honest trailer.
Okay.
But fully understand how thoroughly the honest trailer makes fun of the movie. And it really addresses some things in Boss Baby that you don't realize are fucking insane until it's all laid bare in like a 7-minute video. How insane Boss Baby is. It is fucking nuts, dude. It's a crazy movie. It makes no fucking sense. Whoever wrote it and made it had to have been on drugs the whole time.
Okay, now I want to watch Boss Baby.
Dude, I haven't seen any of the Boss Baby extended universe, the television show, or maybe there's a Boss Baby 2 at this point, but Boss Baby 1 is fucking sick. It is so cool. It's so cool that someone made this movie to completion, and it is that insane.
Okay, so I'm looking at the release date, and Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse projected to come out March 29th, 2024.
Let's fucking go.
Which, yeah. Not
this
too.
Movie made 5 times its budget. Good for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Okay, now I'm looking into, because the next movie, or the next MCU movie to come out is Marvels, which is in November, which seems like a really long time to not do this.
Do this thing that we do?
Yeah.
Is there any other thing that comes out before then? We could get together when Secret Invasion wraps and talk about that.
Yeah, and Loki season 2 comes out.
Ooh, very excited for
Loki. That. Okay, all right. So Spider-Man was awesome. I know that people want to hear about Inclination, Tied Down, Detroit. Break it down for us. What were the vibes? I honestly, the setup looked insane for Tied Down.
It was cool. It was very cool. Second biggest indoor fest possibly ever.
Ever? Really?
I believe so. I'm not sure what Hellfest did, but I can't also think Hellfest might have been partially outdoors. And I think LDB might have been the biggest indoor hardcore festival that has ever happened, with 2,400 one day, 27 the other day. And this was, I think I think 22.5.
That's insane. Like honestly, I like didn't know I didn't have any expectations, but when I saw like the like videos and stuff, I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of people.
Okay, not gonna lie, like a lot of sets were like really cool because people came in pretty close. Like the pit would be a normal size pit, sometimes way shallower than a normal pit. Like God's Hate was pretty hard to mosh during because kids packed in like so much tighter. Trapped Under Ice, there was no moshing for Trapped Under Ice. There was no moshing for Drain. There was, I'm trying to think of who else there was just no moshing for because there was no way to. But I mean, I can't recall really seeing a bad set the whole weekend. Well, there were like awesome earlier in the day sets that were less crowded, but everybody got reactions. Everybody got moshing. I missed the first couple bands both days. We showed up for Hold My Own the first day and in the middle of their set, and I moshed without my knee braces on and my contacts in.
Jeez.
And then the next day did the same thing for Cosmic Joke. Moshed with my knee braces in my hand and my contacts in my pocket. So after both bands that I showed up for both days, I immediately went to the bathroom, put my knee braces on, and put my contacts in. But yeah, no, it was cool. Pre-show was cool. Weapon X. I described it when people asked how the Weapon X set was at the pre-show. I said it's as if you Googled 90s VFW hardcore show. That's what that like Google that and that's just watch a video of anything and that's what it looked like. It was cool. Gates was sick. I bruised my heel spin kicking somebody.
God, they're on a crazy trajectory.
Dude, they're fucking badass.
Yeah, I'm happy for them. I think they're an awesome band.
Yeah, they're badass. Trey Garris is filling in for them right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, for the time being. So he had to play back to back. He had to play Gates and then Weapon X and then Gates back to back. But yeah, it was cool. Enemy of God was the local on the pre-show. They're fucking rad. Shout out Joe Plonky. But yeah, it was cool. It was fucking awesome. The Inclination set popped off. I was thrilled. I think I realized that it was that set that I played half the set with my fly undone, which is always fantastic.
I get how it could be awkward to tell somebody like, hey, like your zipper's down, but dude, just help a brother out.
Well, no, I mean, no one could really tell. And then I took my shirt off. And when I took my shirt off, it wasn't hanging over my crotch anymore. And I looked down and I looked at everybody behind the drums and then just zipped my pants up and everyone started laughing at me. It was pretty funny. But yeah, so that was sick. I'm trying to think first day, what the lineup was right now.
Who were the secret bands? Because I saw both days had secret bands.
It was us and Weapon X.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Weapon X was first day, and we were second day. But I'm just going to the fucking lineup.
And why couldn't they just say Weapon X and Inclination?
I don't think they wanted to hurt the pre-show.
Got it.
Beforehand.
And
so yeah.
And I'm sure, word got around that you guys were the secret band, or was it like a surprise?
Everybody was saying, everyone was saying, see you Sunday. I was like, yes.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, so yeah, showed up for Hold My Own. Missing Link was insane. That band is insane. D Block was great. Local Detroit. I had no business moshing for it, but I did. Gag was fantastic, but I was saving myself for Weapon X at that point in time. But yeah, shout out Casey and Joey. They're the shit. And then Weapon X was fucking batshit. I dislocated my elbow during it.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then
during Dead Body and Warfare, I was on a mission to get to a CVS and get an elbow brace, and I am wearing that elbow brace during the True Love set. I again just opted out for King 9, knowing that I would get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Pain of Truth was awesome as always. I accidentally spent the entire Incendiary set in a conversation, went to go watch Incendiary, only to find out they had ended.
Gee. That's a bummer.
Yeah, I was so bummed because it was apparently an Incendiary set for the ages.
Yeah, because the new record had just come out.
Yeah, people were saying like this was like the first time they'd seen Incendiary get this kind of reaction in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a bummer. I moshed to God's Hate just because I knew it would make me feel better.
Because you're bummed out.
Well, no, I was in pain.
You're in pain. Okay.
And I was like, if I mosh, I'll get my endorphins going and I'll feel better. So I literally went out and moshed for God's Hate just to make my blood pump and feel better. But they were absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everybody's seen the viral video of Brody choke slamming some kid who asked for it.
Yeah.
Off the stage, which is corny if you think that, and if you don't, then it was really cool. Earth Crisis rocked. I moshed a good amount and then made myself leave because I knew I didn't really want to be present during Firestorm.
Mm-hmm.
And then Neverending Game was fucking not enough.
New record is amazing.
They played a fucking sick set, but when they ended, I was like, nah, they should have played 4 more songs. Like, it was so fucking sick and it was so awesome. And I straight up told them, I was like, you fucking left money on the table. You guys could have played at least 4 more songs. People were wanting it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were songs not only did you not play that I would have liked to have seen you play, but the energy was still fucking heightened when they ended. So they should have played more. I missed the entire Negative Approach set because I was talking to somebody. Oops. And I had to leave halfway through Gorilla Biscuits because everybody wanted to go home. Well, everybody wanted to go back to the Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get to stage dive a significant amount for Gorilla Biscuits, which was awesome.
Yeah. It's cool to see them still doing stuff. They've been around for a really long time.
Dude, Akil from End It did the End of Degradation.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking rocked. Very cool.
I love End It. Shout out Akil. Shout out Baltimore.
Yes, absolutely. Second day, Mosh for Cosmic Joke. Watched Ends of Sanity. They were sick. Raw Brigade. Incredible.
Yes.
Spy. Incredible.
Shout out the new record.
Yep. Oh, yep. Shout out Spy's new record. Gel was cool. Their new record's good. I like it. End It was awesome. Moshed a great amount for End It and Magnitude. Stage dove for Drug Church a significant amount. Ate a pulled pork sandwich during Gridiron. I think I participated appropriately. And then I ended up missing Zabalba, I think, because I was stuck at the merge table. And Drain was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're on like another level.
Drain was when I realized there was 2,000 people there.
Oh, really?
Like, I went up in the balcony and was watching, and you couldn't see the end of people. Just people.
And was it like an actual venue or like what? Like,
yes.
Okay.
It was like a huge warehouse venue.
That's awesome.
It was very sick. I honestly would be interested to see like what typically happens in that venue.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they always have a barricade for other shows.
Mm-hmm.
But this stage was fucking perfect. And dude, I mean, honestly, this is my first time getting to see Trapped Under Ice since they came back. It was fucking thrilling.
Yeah, I'm always curious why they you kind of have these spurts, right, where they'll step away and then come back, and then
I mean, I think it's just them all having other shit going on. And I mean, for the longest time, I guess they really didn't know who was going to play drums.
Mm-hmm.
and then now with Derek from NEG and True Love playing, I guess they're opened up more to the idea of playing without Brendan.
Mm.
But man, the vibe was amazing during TUI.
Yeah, I've always argued that like when TUI was like, you know, going full time, they were like the biggest thing in hardcore, and for them, in my eyes, there was no ceiling. I felt like they could you know, break out of like the hardcore bubble if they wanted to.
I don't think they could have ever broken out of the hardcore bubble.
You don't think
I
so?
think I think that they were always going to be limited to Terror's shadow. I know they are arguably a bigger deal than Terror now, but that's a scarcity thing. I think if TUI TUI continued playing like they were, they would have always been trailing Terror a little bit, but that's, I think, just because of, I think the music isn't accessible enough to get that wider audience that like a Turnstile or a Drain can get, because the music is just that much more aggressive. I think there's an attitude to TUI that is more raw and more off-putting to people who aren't troubled. That I think TUI was never going to appeal to a broader audience that also doesn't hear the Crown of Thorns LP and go, wow. Like, I think you're only gonna find people who like now they get some of that Turnstile rollover. Now they get the attention of people who like Turnstile, who get that TUI was where Homeboy comes from. I think if TUI had just continued on their own, they were going to be too punk to make that next step, which is something I admire. I think they would have kept it real more than not saying like Turnstile doesn't keep it real or Drain doesn't keep it real, but they're just playing a more accessible music.
No, I definitely agree with that point.
And they're in some more inviting vibe. TUI was always going to break your nose, where Drain and Turnstile got to step away from break your nose music.
So what you're trying to say is this is a canon event.
Yes. It couldn't be broken.
I disagree, but I can see your point 100%.
But no, I mean, they were on top of the hardcore world. I mean, they were a band that they could have just kept touring the way they were, but they were never gonna make a living at it any more than Terror does, which I don't think everyone in the band wanted to just be Terror and spend the next 20 years of their lives playing songs off the demo. Nothing against that, nothing wrong with that. I still love seeing Terror do it, but that's not for everybody.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, that's something I couldn't do.
I couldn't do it either. I can barely play 11 shows in a row without maybe needing to go get an IV. If a Bacta tank was real, I would buy one.
Okay. So, tied down, wrapped up. Any future plans? Anything in the books for Inclination, or?
We're playing Furnace Fest, I think. I haven't heard of our travel situation yet for it, but that's all we got on the books. I just found out Constraint's playing a show next week.
Oh, that's awesome.
July 7th. It might be the only show we play this year. It's at the other Spinelli's.
Okay.
We've played there one time. There are tables in the way of moshing, but kids still moshed last time, so we'll see what happens this time. I'm sure I'm gonna be reckless, but it's like an all local show, I guess, is what Ryan was just texting me before we started this. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to write music this year. I wish I could get Sleepaway back together to do stuff, but I think it's completely fizzled
Which
the fuck out.
that's a bummer because
It's such a bummer. It makes me bummed all the time.
I was always looking forward to seeing the direction of that band, from the comp. I was like, oh, okay, like
I
what's
just wanted to write a record. I just wanted to record the 4 songs we had. But I don't know if that's in the cards. So I don't know. We'll see. I might start something new. I'm hoping Gates will have a window where we can at least write and record new Constraint music this year.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it's really all up in the air. I just kind of get told what to do and where to show up, and other than that, I'm just going to work and doing the podcast and doing this podcast when we have stuff to talk about, and going to fucking shows. Went and saw Integrity last week. Sick.
That's crazy. Where?
They played here for the first time in 25 years.
That's so crazy because you got to think about how old Integrity is. Because Integrity was old when I got into hardcore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They hadn't played here since '98.
That is wild. Shout out Integrity.
That's a whole ass kid.
Yeah.
That's a whole ass adult. That's a college graduate.
Shout out the label Raw Life.
Yeah, they released a single off their record. Fuck, who knows when the fuck their vinyl will be real, but we've yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get the label moving a little bit more. That's something I'm pouring a lot of my money into right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, soon there will be a Pure Noise exclusive color of the Midwest Straight Edge that will be up in their store. I'm mailing those out this week. And the LDB color is currently in the store. I just haven't posted about it, but like 5 people have already bought one, so people have stumbled across this Inclination record that is available again, as well as the new pressing of the Koyo record, which is available again.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Koyo. They're overseas right now. They just dropped a new song off the upcoming LP, which is amazing.
Dude, the new LP is so crazy. It is so good. I'm so psyched for them.
They're unstoppable. I love Koyo.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. They deserve everything good. But yeah, other than that, the Domain record finally is out. Pick that up if you're listening to this and you like 8,000 shit. But yeah, trying to think of anything else. Two Witnesses vinyl should be real soon. It's sitting in the room over there, waiting on Jim Barron to send me art for covers so I can get that made.
Good old Jim Barron. Hope he's doing well.
I saw him the other day. We went out to eat for Father's Day. He will be a father soon.
I saw that. Congratulations to Jim Barron.
Congratulations to Jim Barron. He's the man. We spent like 2 hours in a parking lot talking like we were kids again. It was great. But yeah, no, everything's good, man. Life is good. I love my friends. I love getting to do all the things I get to do. I love getting to catch up and talk to you.
Same here.
Out about shit that nobody cares about but us, but maybe some people listen to this and care.
No,
cool.
There's a nice following out there. Trust me, when I travel, I'm always humbled and surprised when people bring up these specific episodes, right? Because these are people telling me that they're into the MCU because of us, and I'm like, that's insane. Fun. Yeah,
Chris Williams always texts me whenever we drop these episodes about shit that's going on. So shout out Chris Williams.
He's coming on the podcast very soon.
Fuck yes, dude. I love him. I hope for more Change music sometime.
Me too.
At just to exist. I fucking love that band. It's very cool. Hardcore's cool, dude. Everything's sick. Everything's great. Yeah. Louisville shows are happening a little bit more. I think hopefully they're going to be happening even more if we're going to get into Spinelli's again, which is nuts. But shout out Surfaced. They're the young children band that is playing in Louisville now, which it's cool. It's cool. Everybody's seeming to get along. Lots of freaks. It's great. No fights.
It's always good when everybody's getting along. There's no drama.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, I mean, dude, Tied Down was fucking awesome. It was an incredible vibe. It really rejuvenated me on hardcore, just getting to see so many different people from all over the country. So many people that I hadn't seen since, you know, whatever the last fest was, or whatever the last time I was in their area.
Mhm.
It was just awesome. It's great seeing Pacific Northwest homies. It was great seeing Canada people. Jess and Coulter from World of Pleasure were down. It was awesome seeing them. It was awesome seeing Joey and Casey and all the Apex Predator guys, which I'm doing a joint record with Joey, starting a label, and we're putting out the Apex Predator record together. So that'll exist sometime maybe this year, I hope.
Mhm.
We'll see.
That's awesome. That band's awesome.
They're fucking badass, dude. That shit fucking rocks. But yeah. Yeah, as far as I go, that's about it. How are you doing, Jamie?
Same old shit. I'm going to battle with the bots tomorrow. Tickets for KCON go on sale tomorrow. So that's like the big thing on my mind. There's a couple groups that are coming to America for the first time. Shout out 50/50. They probably have the most popular K-pop song of this year, like breaking.
Is this just meet and greet shit, or
no? This is it's
like
a
concert?
All of the above. Concert, meet and greet. Yeah, it's insane. Like last year, I went specifically for this group called Stacy. I got to see them. Like I snuck into their sound check. Got to see 2 different sound checks of theirs. Then I got to see them in an intimate show on the Friday, and they played the Crypto Arena that following Saturday, and it was money well spent.
Where does this happen at?
LA, at the LA Convention Center, and the concert takes place at the Crypto Arena or Staples Center, that more people recognize it by that name.
It's called. God,
yeah.
Why do they? What a fucking cursed thing to change your fucking name to nowadays. That's like
money.
Anything that's named. That's like at one point, like something was probably like the Enron Arena or some shit, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, it's not a good look, but yeah. So
the failed investment, the failed investment center, the Coliseum of Broken Dreams.
It's insane, but that's like my main focus right now, because it's literally happening tomorrow. So
fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, as long as I get tickets, I'll be happy. But things should go smoothly, and then doing a bit of traveling, which I can't say publicly, but I'm traveling September. I can give you location, but I can't say for what. September going to Pittsburgh, October going to Philly, and then December going to Columbia. But that's all I can say for now. But just know
Columbia, the country, or the. Oh shit! Are they doing that Columbia thing again?
Sure.
That's sick.
Yeah, so I'll be there, and every step along the way, I'll be with Jeff from Feet First. We're gonna be filming some cool shit.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
I don't want to go to Columbia so bad.
I got invited last year because Jeff and our good friend Carl Gunhouse, they both went, and they're like, dude, you got to come, and it was just too last minute. But this year, they're like, yo, like it's happening again, like you should come, and I'm like, I will go. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that, and it's all for hardcore, right? So it's gonna be super sick to see a bunch of friends that I normally don't get to see, and I get to see a lot of cool bands.
Dude, that fucking rocks.
Yeah, but Tyler, this has been amazing. I always look forward to these. Shout out to everybody who tunes in. We'll be back. For the conclusion of Secret Invasion, since the writer strike and the release windows for movies are all up in the air. Yeah, so we'll figure it out, but I appreciate your time, Tyler. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll be back soon. Goodbye.